It seems like a lot of them are kind of being told what to do. There are other people pulling the strings above them.
What I will personally label the idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision? It's stupid.
I guess some trash talking entered in. But now it seems on some social media channels to have taken a darker turn, a more menacing turn, where race has been introduced into the conversation. Where, not personally, it would seem, but their fan bases are involved in saying some very uncharitable things about the other.
Well, the one thing that's great now, we do sit at this intersection of culture and sport and fashion and music. Like, the WNBA players are really looked at now as kind of cultural icons.
True.
And when you have that, you have a lot of attention on you. There's no more apathy. Everybody cares. It is a little that Bird Magic moment, if you recall, from 1979, when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
Coaches, governors, and general managers. Those are the people calling all the shots.
The refereeing in that WNBA is the worst in any sports. I see high school fucking basketball refs call better games than these WNBA refs. I'm being serious. There's a real problem. You have too many people in the league coming out and saying the refereeing sucks, and it does suck. Watching a game is so horrible sometimes. It's like, oh my God, do these refs know that they are like paid to make good calls?
What actually happens is that we have a competition committee for stakeholders, coaches, governors, and general managers, and that competition committee is the committee that dictates the state of the game.
Well, let me clarify first, because it's proxy season, right? No CEO do you just put the base pay in there. You put their bonus, you put their stock options, you put everything. Caitlin has the ability to make up to $500,000 just in WNBA wages this year. So, of course, they're just looking at a base which is collectively bargained. And actually, it's low because she's the number one pick. She'll make a little more than that. But she also has millions and millions of dollars of endorsements. She's actually, because she declared to become pro, her endorsements are higher in dollar value. She has a global platform now, not just a U.S. platform. So she's going to do just fine, as will the top players in the league, as every league does. Also, there's comparisons to the men. Those men's leagues are 75 to 120 years old. We're tipping off our 28th season. I would say if you looked at them 28 seasons in, we're further ahead. But I realize we still have a lot of work to do. And it's all about the ecosystem.
This is where I'm really speaking from. And that was very, very damaging for me. And so I'm not, I'm only using that as a reference, but that's really where I'm coming to now. And that's where I'm speaking from. Back then as a player, I couldn't see what I can see now. Now I'm a tired couch potato. So I'm watching, observing the game in a whole new light. And I really feel like this is an important message for me to submit. I just feel like I need to create this PSA before I continue with my commentary, which I will continue. In the NBA, I see how much the officials and the officiating controls everything. It's the most critical aspect of the game. It shouldn't be, but it is. It's the most absolute critical component of wins and losses determined in the NBA. And I wish now the same thing that I wished back then for myself, which was that there was a way to remove this bias from the officiating. I wish that it could be more fair. How can it be more fair?
In the WNBA became as hot button of an issue as any. Heated debates surrounding the league's physicality dominated the headlines, particularly when Indiana Fever star rookie Caitlin Clark was subject to several intentional fouls. The referees who were refereeing the Fever and Liberty game, that one of the referees seems like his only experience was actually refereeing high school games.
The WNBA is not rigged. The NBA is not rigged. They're doing a great job of making it look like it's rigged. Because if you guys didn't see the referees literally, they made a bad call. And if you guys have ever played sports, you know that like when a referee knows they've screwed up, they will do everything they can to not talk to the players. They are running away from the Indiana Fever players. As you can see, like, it's not just Caitlin Clark, it's Sophie Cunningham. And he's like, no, I'm not looking. No. And you know bad refs, because again, I live in a country where there are good refs and the good refs know who they are, but the standard of refereeing is absolutely shocking. And like I've seen referees be talking to coaches, and then mid-conversation, just when they know they're in the wrong, mid-conversation, just turn around and start ignoring players. If it wasn't for the fact that the WNBA is a professional sports league. This would be funny if the WNBA was not a pro sports league. Straight up, it would be funny.
This isn't just a missed call. This is a scandal. Stephen A. Smith just dropped a nuclear bomb on the WNBA, accusing top leadership of a referee bribery cover-up. Did Cathy Engelbert allow this to happen? And if so, who else knew? This is the moment the league's dirty secret was exposed. It was supposed to be a game of legends in the making. Indiana Fever versus New York Liberty. National TV. Rookie superstar Caitlin Clark, ball in hand, about to seal the win. Then boom, an obvious foul. No call. No justice. Within hours, ESPN's most vocal analyst did what the league refused to do: speak the truth. On live TV, Stephen A. Smith didn't just criticize the officiating, he accused the league of manipulating outcomes. But this wasn't the first time Commissioner Cathy Engelbert faced criticism. From pay disparities to lack of transparency, her leadership has faced major heat. And Stephen A. isn't new to the smoke either. Then came the leak. A mysterious internal memo surfaced online suggesting that certain high-profile players were to be challenged more aggressively during primetime games. It didn't name names, but everyone knew who it meant. And then the bombshell. A WNBA ref, under questioning, admitted he was offered what he called an unofficial bonus to keep the game moving. Translation? Let fouls go. Especially in televised games. Especially against certain stars. The backlash was instant. Fans demanded Engelbert's resignation. Players were hesitant, but even some began to speak out anonymously, frustrated with what they called a double standard for league favorites. As the flames grew, Cathy Engelbert did what she's done in every storm: disappeared. No statement. No press conference. Just silence. And for many, that silence sounded a lot like guilt. Now, calls are growing for an independent investigation, not just into the refs, but into the entire WNBA leadership structure. Fans are asking, is the game even fair? Or is it all a performance? Now, calls are growing for an independent investigation, not just into the refs, but into the entire WNBA leadership structure. Fans are asking, is the game even fair? Or is it all a performance? If you believe the game should be fair, drop a like, share this video, and sound off in the comments. Should Cathy Engelbert be investigated? And do you think the WNBA is rigged? Let your voice be heard. When a league's integrity is questioned, fans ask for answers. But when a commissioner is accused of hiding the truth, one man steps into the fire: Stephen A. Smith. What started as a missed foul exploded into a full-blown bribery scandal, toppling the WNBA's top leadership. The receipts, emails, recordings, whistleblowers, and a league in crisis. This is the story of how the whistle finally blew. It started on a Monday morning show. Stephen A. Smith, fists on the desk, said, "You don't get to disappear when the house is burning." The target? WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, accused of staying silent while referees were allegedly being paid to ignore fouls. Within 48 hours, an anonymous league official came forward. Pre-game meetings weren't just about rules, they were strategy sessions to protect the brand. Refs were coached. And Cathy? She was reportedly in the room. The moment the NBA got involved, everything changed. Commissioner Adam Silver confirmed that the NBA's compliance team had joined the investigation. This wasn't a rumor, it was an official probe. The most damning blow? A referee submitted a recording of league execs using the phrase, "Protect the brand. Limit disruption from dominant players." This wasn't speculation. This was evidence. As the scandal ballooned, Engelbert vanished. No statements. No interviews. The silence was deafening. Even her allies began to back away. The court of public opinion? Not in her favor. Stephen A. made it plain. We're past the point of investigation. The damage is done. It's time.
Step down.
His words, a megaphone for fans, players, and sponsors alike. Within 48 hours, it was over. The league framed it as a mutual decision, but insiders knew the truth. Engelbert's legacy collapsed, and Stephen A. opened his next broadcast without a single word, just a stare into the camera. This wasn't a one-day drama. It was a systemic rot exposed by a media firestorm. Emails, memos, testimonies. One voice kept pushing until the truth shattered the silence. In the aftermath, the WNBA announced sweeping reforms. A new leadership council, independent oversight, finally transparency. And at the center, a rookie star whose treatment sparked the revolt. She didn't ask for special rules, just a fair game.
And now,
she's finally getting it. Stephen A. said it best. You protect the game, or you don't deserve to lead it. Engelbert's fall wasn't just justice. It was a message. This is what accountability looks like. In a moment that rocked the foundation of professional women's basketball, Stephen A. Smith, the most outspoken and unrelenting voice in modern sports journalism, stepped into the national spotlight once again, not to celebrate a championship, not to discuss playoff standings, but to detonate a verbal explosion that would tear open a scandal no one in the WNBA leadership wanted aired. With fury in his tone and fire in his eyes, Smith took to the airwaves with a single, incendiary mission to expose Cathy Engelbert, the WNBA Commissioner, for her alleged complicity in one of the most disturbing controversies in league history, a referee bribery scandal that, if true, would shake the legitimacy of the entire league. This was no baseless rant, no theatrical monologue for ratings. This was a blistering, meticulously sourced takedown fueled by leaked documents, insider testimonies, and an avalanche of damning silence from the commissioner's office. In his now viral segment, Smith didn't just raise eyebrows. He raised hell. You're the commissioner, he thundered. You answer to the fans. If the people calling the games are getting checks to ignore contact, and your biggest stars are being punished for being too good, then maybe you're not protecting the game. Maybe you're controlling it. The shockwaves were immediate. Clips of Smith pacing across the First Take studio, veins bulging, voice cracking with righteous anger, surged across social media like wildfire. Millions watched, shared, and commented as the unspoken truths of the league came roaring into public view. The accusation? That referees were allegedly paid, or at the very least coached, to manipulate game outcomes. Not to uphold the spirit of basketball, but to protect corporate narratives, maintain artificial parity, and ensure that dominant players didn't disrupt the brand. Smith wasn't speculating. He came armed with sources, including a former league operations staffer turned whistleblower, who detailed how pre-game meetings included instructions like manage tempo and limit disruption.